Welcome to my YouTube channel where I study the best investors from around the world. In this week's video, we'll go over the wildly successful Y-Combinator president and CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, and his advice on how to be successful. In this video, we'll cover the following two topics. Number one, the life of Sam Altman and the growth of Y-Combinator. And number two, his tips on how to be successful for a startup. The life of Sam Altman and the growth of Y-Combinator, YC. The field of entrepreneurship is like a roller coaster ride, and the many personalities mean that there are many interesting stories out there, often filled with struggle and desire to reach their goals. And it's the same for Sam Altman, but with a twist. Sam is an American entrepreneur, investor, programmer, and blogger. He is currently the CEO of OpenAI and was the former president of Y-Combinator, YC. And not really surprised that Sam Altman is a successful investor after his investments in Airbnb, Stripe, Reddit, which he was also the CEO of for 8 days, Asana, Pinterest, Teespring, Zenefits, Farmlogs, Shoptiques, and more. When Altman was just 19, he founded a location-based social networking company called Loopt, which later sold to Green Dot for $43 million with the help of YC. Since then, he's become known for being a notable entrepreneur and venture capitalist who has been recognized in Inc. magazine's Top 30 Entrepreneurs Under 30 and Businessweek's Tech's Best Entrepreneurs. When you've climbed up the ladder of success at such a young age as Altman did, it's only normal for people to wonder how you achieve such success. Some believe that the reason for YC's success is the power of its network. Alumni view themselves as a kind of network of interlocking companies that help one another succeed. YC is its own company. Harsh Stager, the co-founder of TripleByte, said, "Every spring, founders gather at Camp YC in a forest north of San Francisco just to network." In addition to leading YC, Altman had also teamed up with Elon Musk to create a nonprofit venture called OpenAI, a research lab that keeps large governments and corporations at their potentially oppressive uses of the artificial intelligence in check. Although recently Musk had to step away from the company due to conflicts with Tesla's AI program, the goals for the company are the same. OpenAI's immediate goals include a household robot able to set up and clear a table. One longer-term goal is to build a general AI system that can pass the Turing test, which means that it could convince people that it is a human being. Yet Altman believes that a true general AI should do more. He believes that it should create, discover, and devise a new form of art simply to gratify its desires and know and to create. In the eyes of many, Sam Altman is already seen as a success story. In his book Startup Playbook, Sam delves into his tips for success and answers questions such as, what products should I build? How do I become successful?
Startups always ask us for the secret to success. They always want to believe it's something other than this because this is really hard to do. But this is it. If you can build a product that is so good, people spontaneously tell their friends about it, you have done 80% of the work that you need to be a really successful startup.
According to Sam, you should create a product so good that people want to share the story about it with their friends. He also believes that the most successful companies like Google, Facebook, and Twitter are popular largely because of their popularity, and they become popular when their users describe the company's service to their friends. In his book, Sam Altman also argues that the quality of your product, meaning it should be easy to use, can determine the future of your company. Another important tip that he has is to try and aim for a market that is starting to undergo exponential growth.
Before you make a big bet on a new platform, you want to make sure it's real. Now, there's an easy trick for this, which I'll share now. Real trends are ones where a new technology platform comes along and the early adopters use it obsessively and tell their friends how much they love it. A fake trend is one where people may buy the product, but don't use it, or at least not enough. So an example of a real trend, I already mentioned the iPhone, I'll mention that again, When the iPhone first came out, many people were dismissive because they only sold a million or 2 million that year. And they said, well, this just doesn't matter. But for the people that had an iPhone, they used it for hours every day. It became central to their lives. They loved it. They told their friends, you got to get one. And I think it was obvious then to people paying attention that something had fundamentally shifted. And we had a new computing platform that was going to spawn huge businesses. And it was a good time to bet on mobile apps. A fake trend, or at least a fake trend as of August 2018, I would say is VR. I do believe VR will be big someday, but today most people that I know that own a VR headset use it never or very rarely. And so although a lot of people talk about it, and maybe even a lot of people buy them, there's not the intense usage per user among the early adopters that I think you want to see.
Trends are also an important factor that can determine the popularity and future of your company. So it's important to make sure that the trend your company follows is not temporary. It's clear to see why Sam Altman, who has achieved so much at his young age, is held to a high regard in his fields of finance and investing. We'll now take a look at the blog post he wrote, which outlines his top 13 tips for finding success. How to be successful. Sam has 13 thoughts about how to achieve outlier success. Number 1, compound yourself. He believes that exponential curves are the key to wealth generation. For example, a medium-sized business that grows 50% in value every year becomes huge in a very short amount of time. This scalability is crucial. You should also be an exponential curve yourself by aiming to increase your up and to the right trajectory. For instance, you don't want a career where people who have been doing it for 2 years are just as effective as people who have been doing it for 20. As you progress, each unit of work should generate more and more results. To do this, leverage capital, technology, brand, and network effects. It's also alright to take as much time as needed between projects, but just make sure that project is successful. To do this, you need to think in the long term, and the market will reward you. Number 2, have almost too much self-belief. Sam believes that self-belief is powerful, and says that some of the most successful people around him believe in themselves almost to the point of delusion. If you don't believe in yourself, it's hard to let yourself have hope and ideas about the future. And that is how most value gets created. And unfortunately, the more ambitious you are, the more the world will try and tear you down. However, self-belief must also be balanced with self-awareness. Always try to listen to criticism and then decide whether to act on it or not. While this can be hard, it's what separates self-belief from self-delusion. Number 3, learn to think independently. Entrepreneurship is hard to teach because original thinking is hard to teach. Generating new ideas can be fun, and finding people to exchange ideas with can help you get better at this. The next step is to find ways to test these ideas in the real world. To be successful, you need to find out what you can do in situations that seem to have no solution. This generates grit, and it will become easier to get back up on your feet after you've been knocked down. Number 4, get good at sales. Believing in yourself alone is not sufficient enough. You also have to convince other people that what you believe is true and right. This requires an inspiring vision, strong communication skills, charisma, and evidence of execution ability. Becoming a good communicator is a worthy investment. Sam's best advice is to ensure your thinking is clear and then use plain, concise language. It's also important to genuinely believe in what you're selling. While many people treat this as something unlearnable, you can practice it and get better at it. Number 5, make it easy to take risks.
The risk is what risk actually looks like is that you look back at the end of your career and you're like, fuck, I wasted it.
Oh, totally.
And people aren't programmed to think about risk that way. Like we're very good at thinking about short-term catastrophic risk, and we're very bad about thinking about long-term chronic risk. Like we worry about nuclear plant meltdowns, but not about like inhaling coal smoke or whatever. And so There's like a very small handful of people that I would say like I have taken an interest in their careers because I think they're going to like do amazing things in the world, and I try to spend a lot of time with for no reason other than I want to help them.
Yeah.
And consistently, like, this is the thing I find myself pushing them on, which is you're thinking too small and you're thinking about risk the wrong way.
Taking risk is important because it helps you learn to adapt to mistakes, and not every risk will reward you. It's usually easier to make risky decisions earlier in your career because you have less to lose and potentially more to gain. When starting, make small bets where you lose 1x if you were wrong, but make 100x if it works, and then work from there. It's also easier to take risks if you keep life cheap and flexible for as long as you can. Number 6, focus. Everybody can benefit from spending more time thinking about what to focus on. It is more important to work on the right thing than it is to work on many hours on anything. Most people waste a lot of time on things that don't matter. Once you have figured out what to do, get your priorities accomplished quickly. Sam states that he has yet to meet a slow-moving person who is very successful. Number 7, work hard.
If you work really hard at the beginning of your career and you get a little bit better at what you do every day, every week, every year, and you learn more and you meet more people and you just get more done, there's a compound effect. And it's far better to put that time in at the beginning of your career than at the end, because if you do it at the beginning, you get to benefit from it, for the rest of the time you work. So, one thing I always try to do is like meet every person I had time for, go to everything I could, and just like spend a little bit more time trying to learn and get better at what I do. And I think that is really valuable.
Becoming a success requires working both smart and hard. And your stamina to work hard is a predictor of long-term success. While working hard can come with life trade-offs, it also has a lot of advantages. Not to mention, Sam believes that it can also be really fun. It's joyous to find your life purpose, excel at it, and discover that your impact matters. It's also important not to burn out, though. It helps to find work that you enjoy doing with people you also like spending a lot of time with. According to Sam, a pro tip is to work the hardest at the start of your career. Hard work compounds over time. So the earlier you start, the more time you have for your benefits to pay off. Number 8, be bold. Sam believes it's easier to work on a difficult startup than an easy one, because people want to be a part of something exciting. Let yourself become more ambitious, and don't be afraid to work on what you really want to work on. Follow your curiosity, because things that seem exciting to you will often seem exciting to other people. Number 9, be willful. People have an enormous ability to make things happen, but often self-doubt and not pushing hard enough prevents most people from reaching their goals. Ask what you want. It won't always work out, but it can surprisingly often. If you're persistent, luck will eventually go your way. However, to be willful, you also have to have optimism, which can be improved with practice. Most successful people are not pessimistic. Number 10, be hard to compete with. Companies tend to be more valuable if they are very difficult to compete with, but this also holds true for individuals. If what you're doing can be done by someone else, it eventually will be, and for less money. Also, if you're just doing the same thing everyone else is doing, you will not be hard to compete with. The best way to become hard to compete with is to build leverage through personal relationships, having a strong personal brand, or by getting good at the skills in between the intersection of different fields. Number 11, build a network.
But building a great team, I think other than picking the right market and building a great product is the most important thing you do. All founders go through a transition, all successful founders, where you switch from building a product to building a company, and building a company really is about the team.
Great work requires teamwork, and developing a network of talented people you can work with is important for a great career. A good way to build your network is to help people as much as you can. This can lead to some of our best career opportunities. To do this, try to develop a reputation of taking really good care of the people who work with you, and to be overly generous. It's also helpful to do your best to ensure that the people that you work with succeed by putting them into roles that suit them best. When working with others, still try to stand out by highlighting your strengths, acknowledging your weaknesses, but figure out a way to work around them so that they don't hold you back. The good way to make up for your weaknesses is to hire complementary team members that shine in areas you may lack. Finally, remember to spend your time with positive people who support your goals and dreams. Number 12. Get rich by owning things. Sam believes that the biggest economic misconception is that people get rich from high salaries. While there are some exceptions, almost no one who has ever been on the Forbes list has gotten there with the salary. Instead, they get rich by owning things that increase rapidly in value, such as a piece of a business, real estate, natural resources, or intellectual property. Some way or another, you need to own equity in something, instead of just selling your time. Number 13, be internally driven. Most people are driven by external forces, such as by the desire to impress other people. This is bad for many reasons. First, you will care a lot about whether people think you're doing the right thing, which can prevent you from doing the interesting work that you're truly passionate about. Second, you'll probably get your risk calculations wrong by being focused on keeping up with other people. The most successful Sam knows are internally driven by doing what they do in order to impress themselves and because they want to impact the world. You'll also continue to drive high levels of performance after you've made enough money to buy whatever you want and then get the social status you've always wanted. As Sam believes, eventually you will define your success by performing excellent work in areas that are important to you. It is hard to be wildly successful at anything you aren't obsessed with. Thank you for watching this video entirely till the end. Nothing helps out this channel more than y'all sticking it out to the end, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already done so. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video so that I can continue to make videos like this for you to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please share it with your friends and family. It helps the channel a great deal. Leave in the comments section your thoughts about the video and who I should cover next. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.